Congratulations on being newly listed on the CSE.
Thank you to all our viewers who are tuning back in for another newly listed on the CSE clip. I'm Anil Mall. I represent the CSE, and today I am talking to Mr. Patrick Elliott. Patrick is the CEO of Forte Minerals. Forte Minerals trades under the symbol CUAU. They've just listed on the CSE a little while back. So Patrick, thanks for your time today. I hope you're doing well.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you having us here today, and we're honored to have this interview with you.
Perfect. Patrick, let's jump right into it. Talk to us a little bit about Forte Minerals and what your focus is.
Well, Forte's had a very strong copper focus for the last 6 years in Peru, assembling copper and now some gold properties in the country. We've assembled a team that's been in Peru for several decades, or in South America for several decades, and we like working there. We've been investing and operating other junior companies since about 2004 in the country. Copper markets are very attractive right now, and the forecast is that they remain strong as copper production declines, nearing 2025. So we felt that this was the right time to take Forte public and start driving some value into the projects that we have. Yeah, the copper market's definitely been a hot sector over the last little while. Now, Patrick, what is the significance of having a project in the region of Peru? It's a good question. We feel that a lot remains to be discovered. It's a very unexplored country. It's very remote. Access is difficult. The Andes and the Paleocene southern Peru copper belts are very well endowed with metal, and our risk of discovery is a lot less working in Peru. There are other challenges that we feel we can overcome, and other companies have proven that in order to work with partners and communities to take projects through to production. Perfect. Patrick, can you talk to us a little bit about some of your key team members that you've assembled to move this project forward? Yeah, absolutely. It dates back to the early 2000s, working in Chile with Stephanie Ashton and Tom Henriksen. Tom, senior geologist for Rio Tinto at the time, came on to work with us. He made several discoveries in Chile and a few in Peru, namely Corani for Bear Creek. He discovered Oyachea for Minera IRL, Constancia for Norsemont, and then he was also in part in advancing Zafranal. I worked with him on that project with Teck and AQM Copper. That property was actually discovered by Manuel Montoyo, which is he's our general manager in Peru, and he's put together a phenomenal team that's not only focused on exploration but on social and environmental initiatives as well. It's so important having a strong team that has a collective background within that region. Patrick, what would you say, because there's obviously other companies that are in that same region, what would you say differentiates a company like Forte Minerals as well as your team from some of your peers that might be in the same region? It's always a tough question because there's some tremendous junior companies working in Peru, and we have invested alongside them. We've optioned properties with them, but I think that the main differentiator with Forte is that we have a strategic partner that has a pipeline of generative properties, and that's Globetrotters Resources. And we're all involved in Globetrotters Resources, a common investor base, common management with Richard Osmond, who is one of our directors of Forte as well, and it's a very tight group whereby Forte, now being the public arm and having the ability to raise capital and drill some of these projects, have access to pick these generative properties from Globetrotter. Coming up with good properties that haven't been drilled, that have substantial alteration and metal anomalous metal is very difficult. So by skipping that stage and having a crack at some of these properties from Globetrotters really sets us apart.
Yep. Are there any milestones that you're able to talk about that our viewers can look out for in the coming months?
No, absolutely. We have 3 properties in the portfolio, 2 porphyry coppers and 1 gold district play. Now, the 3 properties are all in the permitting process, which was initiated back in mid 2021. So we expect at least 2 of those properties to be drill permitted this year. Pucarini and Esperanza, they've never been drilled before. So very extensive alteration, surface expression, and some really good geophysics to complement that. There would be exciting drill programs. And the backstop really is Don Gregorio. It's a porphyry copper gold in northern Peru. It was drilled in the mid 90s by Newmont and Buenaventura, and they encountered some phenomenal intercepts, some potentially economic grades of gold and copper in every hole that they drilled. And it's a project more of an exercise of adding tonnage and adding resources and moving that project forward. The initial discovery has been made. It is a porphyry copper gold, and we're excited to advance that project. So the Pucarini gold project, it's a different beast. It's not just a project. It's 9 projects. It's 9 different claim groups of years of work from Richard Osman, who's a geophysicist, outlining these aster.
Patrick, earlier you mentioned a little bit about the company Forte Minerals having a focus on the ESG aspects. Can you talk to us a little bit about what the initiative your company and team is taking to work with the communities that you're exploring with it?
Oh, absolutely. It's become mainstream. It's a big part of our exploration budgets as well now, and it's important. It probably wasn't as talked about 20 years ago, but in order to be successful, especially in Peru and countries in South America, it needs to be a focus. So we actually have 2 different social teams that work with us, one in-house and then one consulting team, depending on where we're working, which regions. We're very specific about what kind of programs we deploy there. But before you do any work, it's weeks, months of interacting with the community and supporting the community, and essentially finding out where you can help, right? And it's and what their senses are and whatnot. But it's challenging. It doesn't matter where you are in the country. We spend a lot of time and a lot of money on working with communities on the environmental aspects associated with our footprint or future footprints, and we've had a lot of success doing that. And it's due to Manuel Montoyo and the team down there just having experience doing a lot of the project generative work and going to different regions. We're hopeful that we'll get these projects permitted this year for drilling. The biggest aspect of that is the social aspect and working with the community and getting a very agreeable working relationship that can have some longevity.
Well, Patrick, I appreciate you taking the time to talk to us about, your ESG focus, the company's focus in Peru, your team. Now, for our viewers, where can they go to read up on all of these details, like your company and projects?
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for that. Our website is www.forteminerals.com. Most of the information is held there. Since it was a recent IPO, the prospectus and 43101 report is on SEDAR. And otherwise, you can get in touch with myself or Anna Dallaire.
Perfect. Well, Patrick, we wish you and your team at Forte Minerals nothing but success as you move forward in this landscape. We look forward to having you on again as we can provide our viewers with more updates. But to everybody listening, I'm Anil Mall. I represent the Canadian Securities Exchange, and you've been listening to Mr. Patrick Elliott, who is the CEO of Forte Minerals. It's listed on the CSE under the symbol CUAU. Patrick, thank you so much for your time.